listen to you.
Okay, but you could call realtors or listen to me.
So
Why did
I
you
listen
pick
to
me over?
you
Why did you pick, like, I know this seems like a weird conversation, but I'm going to land the plane. Like, you could choose, like, so, like, I'm just letting you guys know that if you want to do more loans, you got to be in front of more people. So if you want to do more loans, what do you got to do?
be in front of more people.
Yeah. So some people are going to like you. Some people are going to think you're a weirdo. You know you're a weirdo, right, James? I'm a weirdo.
I'm the biggest weirdo on this call.
I got nerd in me. I got false, like, whatever in me. Like, some people like me and some people don't, right? Okay, cool. So why did you choose to listen to me instead of call more realtors?
Because after I listen to you, I call realtors and I tell them I'm buddies with this guy named Jimmy Reed. And he tells me to do this, and then they listen to me more when I tell them that I listen to you.
Okay, really good. So next time, leave the Jimmy Reed out and just say the stuff.
Okay.
I don't want you to be me. I don't want you to be Todd, and I don't want you to be Robin. I want you to be a bigger version of who?
Me.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I was in the 8th grade, actually it was the 7th grade, I lived in Ridgefield, Connecticut. Ridgefield, Connecticut is a town of, like, not very many people. Like, there was one elementary school and each grade had 2 classrooms. And so I knew everybody, but I was very nervous. In 7th grade, I went to my first dance and I was super nervous, James. And my mom gave me the best advice I've ever had in my life. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Don't worry about what they think. Be yourself. Now that sounds oversimplified, but you guys go on sales calls and you're so worried about what they're going to think that you tighten up and you cross your arms and you're worried about what you're going to say and you're worried about if you brushed your teeth today and you're worried about all these things. And can they sense it? So if they can sense that you're not confident, are they going to use you? So the best advice I ever got was from my mom, who said, be yourself and don't worry about what they think. Every time I try to alter my persona to please other people, I actually get the opposite result. They're less pleased with me. Isn't that weird? It just means my mom was right. Like Chris McCabe, he can't pretend to be me, and I can't pretend to be him. I ain't bald. I don't have a big beard. He hasn't, like, this guy. If you're gonna do loans, Chris, here's the best advice I could give you. Everybody wants to be around a big, strong guy who's not intimidating because they feel safe.
I'm actually only 5'3", so.
Well, dude, you look big.
Yeah, I'm small.
You look intimidating.
Not true.
Like,
he's a
dude,
big teddy bear.
Well, all
And I
I'm
actually
saying is
stayed
the
on the
look
call.
on, hey, the look on
I
his
thought-
face says, listen, the look on your face says you could protect me.
Strong
And
possibility.
so at first I'm either scared of you or I want to go near you. And you get to decide which by your smile. If you wear a smile, I'll go near you. If you wear the upside down smile, I will not. You get my point, James? All right. All right, let's see. So thought I would review the loan officer business plan. You want to review it? Rebecca has it, and if you're on here, she's going to send it out to you, and I'm just going to go over it. And your job is to write, as I go over it, Janess, you got to write down which ones you're doing and which ones you're not doing. And then you guys got to ask me questions about either one on how to get better. Sound good, Rudy? This is not 30 minutes of Jim talking. Everybody got that? All right. Wow, we have a big audience today. How many people we got? Let's see. Wow, 60 people. Wow. So it looks like this. You can get it from Rebecca. You can get it from the Next Level Coaching website. This is for anybody doing less than 60 loans a year. All right. So number 1, visit 6 open houses per week and work them the way I teach you on my video. So yesterday we did a Cinco de Mayo party. So I'm working the room. And everybody, I stick my hand out, ask them if they're a past client or a realtor. And we had a great party. And I had 5 loan agents that were there tell me that they were there because of Ryan Hoffman and they met him at an open house. So I'm like, yes, first of all, good job, Ryan. So my hope is, Ryan, and I'm not going to ask you on this call that you're still doing open houses because obviously you're good at it. Okay. Keep doing it, right? So there's cold calling, there's Tuesday updates, and there's buddy introductions. It's the only 3 way to meet realtors. I don't like to talk about cold calling. Why, Todd?
I don't know. Why not?
Because they don't do it, Todd. I feel like I'm wasting my breath. Now they should do it, and Jolt's all about it, and I'm going to explain a little Jolt in a minute, but it is necessary. The reason it is necessary is because I'm currently being coached by a loan officer. His name is Oleg. His last name I don't really know how to pronounce. It's Takash or Takish or something like that. And he's a robot. And he has more work ethic than anybody. He's militant in his work ethic. It's his number 1 attribute. In addition to that, he's developed skills. But he outworks his lack of skill, and he's developed skills along the way, so he's getting even better. So I made him print out his closings for 2023 and send it to me. So by agent, how many deals he closed with each agent. And he did something like 240 loans last year, something like that. I think it was 238 or 242. I can't remember right now. So guess how many agents he did 1 deal with? 1 deal out of the 2. Like, guess how many of his agents that he did 1 deal
100.
with? What?
100.
200.
180. So the market is different than it used to be. And I think this is somewhat in alignment with Jolt, but I can't really tell. Like, you got to be in front of more people than you used to be in front of. You got to be in front of more people than you used to be in front of, which means that you have to have a system for staying in front of them without having to eat dinner with them every week. Does that make sense? So the system for me, before we go over this, is you email them. Let's imagine you emailed 400 realtors a week on Friday, a sales tip of the week or an underwriting guideline. In addition to that, they all followed you and you followed all of them on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So imagine that. And you post all of your clear to closes and all of your closings on those social medias. And you posted invitations to our monthly mastermind that I put together with you, me and Jonas put together with you for a top realtor to teach them something. And you posted some sales tips that would help realtors. So they saw you on their social medias all the time. They got an email from you all the time. And there was 400 of them. What would happen? Todd, you can answer this one. What would happen?
It would blow up.
Well, they would recognize you. You would almost blow up, Todd. They would recognize you.
Warm them up.
They would recognize you. You would fit my criteria of being highly active and highly visible. So you have to be seen as being highly active and highly visible. So if you did all that, Rudy, and then you twice a week, you send a video letting them know a value proposition. Todd calls it an offer. Same thing, right, Todd?
Yep.
Todd calls it an offer. I call it a value proposition. It's the same thing. So you send them a video and said, hey, here's my offer. And I'm going to call you tomorrow so I can meet with you in person. And then tomorrow you actually called 10 of them. What would happen?
You get 2 or 3 appointments.
Okay, you don't get to talk no more. What would happen?
Get 2 or 3 appointments.
No, you would triple the normal appointment setting that you do. So I've tracked it with a couple of people that are doing Jolt. So you would triple. It doesn't mean you would triple your results in terms of closing. I'm not sure yet. but you would for sure get more at bats. And if you get more at bats and you keep developing its skills, you will get more hits. Can everybody agree with that? So like the problem is this, when I look at the mortgage business and I look at real estate, I see the same thing. The old dogs aren't doing that great. And the new people to the business, I don't care their age, they're newer to the business, are doing better. So this time you get to answer, Todd, why is that? So the people who know loans inside and out, been around a long time, they know what to do, they know how to do it. They're not having the same results as the newer people to the industry. Why is
Newer
that?
people have more fear.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, I talked to a guy who used to coach last week. He called me for some advice and he said, I'm a piece of shit. Call me back. That's literally was his voice.
We don't cuss, you owe me $2. It's $10 for an
Okay.
F-bomb, $2 for a cuss word. Keep moving.
Okay. So I call him. I'm like, Bud, what's going on? He says, I only closed 7 loans. I only did, he did 92 loans last year. I'm horrible, blah, blah, blah. I said, Bud, how much net worth do you got? He says, 12 million. I'm like, how much does it cost to live your life? He says, 20 grand a month. I said, Bud, you can live 40 years and not make $1 and not make $1 interest. But he is one of those guys that actually does well, but he feels like he does horrible.
Okay,
He's
so you're
got a
saying,
healthy
so what
dose
you're
of
saying is
fear.
the problem is mindset.
Yes.
So the people who've been around a long time have a mindset of whatever, and the people who are new to the business have a different mindset. For me, the mindset difference is abundance. When I talk to people who've been in the business a long time, they talk about how little business there is and how different it is and how people aren't doing as many deals as they used to. When I talk to newer people, they talked about abundance and how much business there is and how much opportunity there is. What I'm suggesting to you guys is, and I'm right, you're going to have to trust me, is that the reason you're not doing more loans is your mindset. Because you have to change your mindset, because then you'll change your activity and then you'll change your results. So if I looked up how many transactions were done in each of your towns, October, if I looked up how many deals were done in San Antonio last month, what do you think that number would be?
A lot.
Would it be more than enough for you?
Oh yeah, like 13. Yeah, for sure.
So the issue is, you've got to go get yours, right? So if you're going to get yours, you got to change your mindset. This guy who's a top producer, 240 loans last year, got one deal from like almost 180 agents, and the rest he had like, he doesn't go deep. He just goes wide. I prefer you balance the two. I prefer you go deep with some local ones, and I prefer you go wide. Because that's how you're going to grow. Like, people aren't controlling enough business to only have 5 or 10 relationships anymore. Do you agree with that, Todd?
100%.
So it used to be you could control 5 or 10 relationships and you would carve out a living, actually a really good living. And a little refi boom hit and you would get a little extra gravy. And if you were smart, you saved it. Well, I have news for you. 80% of mortgages are 3.5% or lower. You're going to have to carve out a bigger slice of what's out there. And that's just by going wider on your net. You have to go wider on your net. Mary, what do you got to do?
Wider on my net.
You do. Like, you're a really good loan officer. You know loans in and out. You're super charming. You have attractive energy. You need to only be in front of more realtors and you'll get as many loans as you want. All right, so here we go. We're going through the list. Everybody's writing down what they're doing and what they're not doing, and then they're asking me questions. So visit 6 open houses per week and work them the way we teach in Next Level Coaching. There's a video. Rebecca will send it to you. The way we work it is quick. We're not there a long time. We're super professional. We're dressed professional. We have 3 questions we ask, and we don't hog up their time. And when a client comes in to check out the open house, do we talk to the client? No. That's unprofessional and disrespectful. That's the realtor's client. You have to be respectful, and then they may give you a client. So you bow out, you wait till they're done, and you come back. So you ask them, what got you in this crazy business? How'd you get the open house? How's traffic today? I'm busy, I gotta go. It's more detailed than that. So you gotta write down if you're doing that every week. It takes how long to work 6 open houses, Ryan? Here he goes. He's gonna do his mute. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. He's gonna unmute. Ryan Hoffman. Unmute. Dude, COVID was 3 years ago. Unmute
He's on.
yourself.
He's on the phone with somebody, Jim. That's what's happening.
Okay. So how long does it take to work open houses the right way, Chris?
Hour and a half for 6.
Hour and a half. So go home Friday at 2 o'clock, go to the house, hang out with your family, take one of your kids or go by yourself on Sunday after church for 2 hours. Not that big of a deal. Write down if you're doing it or not. Call 40 realtors on Monday, including ones that you have met at open houses, and set up 20 face-to-face meetings. Someone audited my stuff. So you got to call 40 realtors every Friday, every Monday. I switched it to 20 every Monday. A's and B's. So they get a call every other week. Is every other week intimidating, Tony? Every other week feels a little stalky, feels a little overdone. But if you call 20 realtors one week and a different 20 the other week, and you use the grid that we teach in Next Level Coaching so you always know what to say, you talk about leads, you talk about pre-approvals or closings, you talk about a sales tip, and you invite them to our mastermind event, and they only hear from you every other week, it's non-threatening. So you got to do that. Visit the same 8 boutique offices every week. So pick 8 boutique offices. I hear some of you, James, talking about Keller Williams offices. Todd, why do I not like to target Keller Williams offices?
Too big, too many people?
Well, they have a coaching program, they have a leader, and their leader teaches them to leverage their vendors and ask them for money. And so you'll get a realtor who's done 3 deals this year, who in the meeting tells you that you need to pay them. And it's off-putting. Would you guys agree? And so then your experience with meeting realtors is good or bad, James?
It's bad.
So then do you want to meet more or less?
Way more realtors.
You want to meet less when it's off-putting. So when you go to
yeah.
boutique realtors, when you go to small realtor offices with 6 to 10 realtors, they're happy you came because no one shows up. Now there's only one realtor in that office worth a dang, maybe 2. But if you did 8, that means there's 8 to 16 realtors worth a dang that you're seeing once a week. Todd, if you saw 8 times 2 is 16 realtors once a week that were worth a dang, would you pick up some?
For sure,
Even if you sucked, would you pick up some?
for sure.
There's no doubt because no one else is doing it. So you got to go see them. And we give you a 4-week plan. Invite them to our mastermind. Share a loan program of the week. Bring some food. Bring a written sales tactic. Like bring everybody a copy of Lead Tracker. Bring everybody a copy of Greatness Tracker. Bring everybody a copy of How to Work an Open House. Bring everybody a copy of whatever. Write your name on it and your cell phone number. Drop it off if they're not there. Show up every week for a year before you judge it. It will take 8 months to get a result. Within 12 months, you will own the best agents in those offices, and no one else is chasing them. So a very smart man. What's the guy, Berkshire Hathaway guy? What's his name, Todd?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett says if you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. Did you guys know that? He doesn't say outwork them. He doesn't say outgrind them. He basically says, go find a situation where you have a competitive advantage. So you work for a professional company with the best internal coaching program in the nation. We give you lots of topics and tactics, and no one else is chasing them. I would call that a competitive advantage. But when you go into Keller Williams, they all think they're the best thing since sliced bread, and they want to know what you're going to do for them. I never go in those offices. All right. Join the committee. 2 committees, 2 organizations in your town. Join 2. 2, Mary, not 1, 2. Women's Council, Realtist, Chamber of Commerce. I don't really care. Join 2 and volunteer on the board or whatever it's called. Be the secretary or be the secretary's assistant. Don't let them tell you, no, we don't need you. I want to volunteer. It's in my DNA. I need to volunteer. And then be the secretary's assistant. Why, Chris? I know you're texting. I love you.
What's Chris, me?
No, Chris Clock. I caught it.
Oh.
Dang.
Why,
Got me a
Chris?
little bit, but because you have a position of authority and you're seen all the time.
Okay, that's a good guess. It was a good wing it for being caught
Hey,
texting. It was
maybe
not.
because
It was.
the secretary could always use a secretary because I get dumped on.
How about because they have a list of all the people?
Hello, David's right. So because you are responsible as the secretary for calling all the members and reminding them to come to the event. And you're supposed to fill up your greatness tracker. So here's a list of realtors to call and remind them to come to the event. Hey, it's Jim with Summit and the Women's Council of Realtors. How are you? I'm calling to remind you on Wednesday we're meeting at my office for the monthly meeting. And you got it, like our meeting starts at 10. We asked there to be at 9:45. How's business? Create a relationship. You're calling them 2 organizations, a big long list of people active in real estate. You get to call them every month. Hello. That's what we're supposed to do. And then you get to hang out with them. And then you got to call them, if Chelsea's not on here, and schedule a one-on-one meeting. Hey, I want to learn more about your business. Can we meet in person? Learn more about their business. Ask them their frustrations. They'll have no idea you're 2-step closing them. So join 2 organizations. Write down if you're doing it. Send program of the week to at least 400 realtors. Every Friday, send a tip, an underwriting guideline, or a loan program. Todd went out and got us some non-QM stuff, fancy bank statement. What's the fancy investor loan that you don't have to qualify that I think's really weird? What's it called?
DSCR.
DSCR loan, like all these programs. Send one out a week to 400 realtors with your face on it. Write down if you're doing that or not. Okay, so participate in hosting at least 20 agents a month to our mastermind. So, like, if you guys are inviting 40, if you believe it works, right? I'm gonna teach you to think like Todd. If you're Rudy, if you're inviting 40 agents to our mastermind every month, and they give you, like, most of them are like, hey, that was really cool, thanks a lot. My only question for you is, why wouldn't you invite 400? To all of you. If you're inviting 40 and you're getting positive feedback, and the realtors that we have give them good stuff, which they do. Now, I'm not telling you all of them are home runs, but I'd say 8 out of 12 are home runs, and we're working on making it more. If you're getting positive feedback and you're doing it, why wouldn't you invite more than you're inviting? I'm ready for an answer. So I have an answer because you're not speaking. One answer is, oh my gosh, if I invite that many people, it's going to create so much work, follow-up stuff that I don't know if I'll be able to do it, so I don't know what to do. That's me. So I get worried about the follow-up and keeping promises, and so it panics me, and then I don't invite more people. But what would happen if I invited 400 people every month to our mastermind? What would happen? Sean, what would happen if you invited 400 realtors to our mastermind every month and then called the ones who showed up afterwards and asked them what they thought? What would happen?
12 of them might show up and you get some business.
I would think you would start to create a relationship.
Yep.
And then they would like you. And then they'd feel like you know you. And then because you told them you were going to call them and actually did, they might actually trust you. And then what would happen, Sean?
They would send me business.
Right. But you would never have to have them to your house. So Oleg invites 2,000 realtors to his mastermind, which is the same exact thing we do. He himself invites 2,000 people a month. And those onesies that he closed, he says, are specifically and totally from that. He emails them once a week, he calls them and invites them, and then anybody who showed up, he calls them and asks them what they thought. He doesn't promise to do anything for them. He doesn't invite them to hang out with his family. He doesn't ask them about their family. So on that point, I think you need 5 friends that are realtors that are really good, and you do 8 to 12 deals a year with them. So you personally chose your friendships. 5 family people, like-minded, good ethics. Then you need 5 more that are acquaintances. That means they may be too young to hang out with me. They may be too old to hang out with me. They might go to bars too much to hang out with me, but they're good business people and we do 3, 4, 5 deals a year with. So out of 10, we might do 60 deals to 80 deals a year with them 10 people. And then you have 400 others that you're doing all this to, and you get another 60 deals a year. So 120 times $4,000 a month is more money than we're making. That's the business plan. All right. Text 10 realtors. So you have this 40 realtor list that you're heavy chasing. Text 10 every Saturday morning. So the first Saturday you text the first 10. The second Saturday you text the second 10. The third Saturday you text the third 10. The fourth Saturday you text the fourth 10. So they get 2 calls a month from you and 1 text. Tony, is that too much? Is that stalking? I like Tony's opinion because he's like centered. Where is he at? Did he leave? He left. Mary, is that threatening? Is it stalking? 1 text a month and 2 phone calls?
No, just have
It's
to do
not.
it.
It's not, is it?
No, and I think you've taught me this semester, Mary, you don't have to like it, you just have to do it.
Yes. So 1 text a month and 2 phone calls a month, inviting them to something or giving them updates. Is that threatening or cheesy? It's not. It's the bare minimum. So you got to join Next Level Coaching. And the last secret is you have to do 90% of your consultations in person. For some of you, you're going to tell me you can't. So I'm saying that you cannot do any of them by phone or email. So they got to be in person. And if you have to do it by video, then you have to. I don't want to fight about it. But I've done them by video and I've done them in person. Which ones like me more?
Person.
In
Yeah,
person.
they asked me about all these photos on my background that you can't see very well. But if you were here, you would see they're all about me and my sons and what we do together. And you would ask me about my sons, and I would ask you about your kids, and we would like each other better. Now, I'm just telling you, it's that simple. So, I'm ready for questions. Because I only have a couple of minutes. Something you're doing or not doing, and you want to figure out why you're not doing it, or you have a struggle, or you want clarification. I'm telling you, whatever you're not doing on the list I just gave you, do it. I'm going to pick on somebody. All right, Sean, I'm going to pick on you. Ask me a question. Your
Okay,
haircut
question
looks
is,
fantastic.
on the texting every Saturday, what am I texting them? What am I telling them on Saturday texting?
Yeah. Hey, it's Saturday. Like, I come up with goofy stuff. Like, did you know Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity is back at IHOP and I'm working on Saturday? Call me with any questions. So you can
Thanks.
Google and you use AI for funny sales propositions, or you could take a picture of a loan flyer and send it as a text with a simple comment that says, hey, I just want to let you know, if you're working this weekend, so am I. Call me with any questions, whether I'm doing the loan or not. I'd be happy to help you. Givers gain.
Thanks.
Like if a realtor calls you and asks you about a deal and you don't get to work on the deal, but it helps them, is that valuable?
Yep.
At the end, should you say, why didn't you give me the deal?
Mm-hmm.
No, you shouldn't. Who's the boss, me or the realtor?
Realtor.
Why?
They're handing out the paychecks.
No, because they generated the lead. Who's the boss?
The realtor.
Why?
They hand out the leads.
Who's the boss at our company? Todd or you guys?
We are. We bring in the money.
You generate the leads, don't you? You have a responsibility to help make this the best place to be a loan rep. Don't let me down. That doesn't mean increase our pay and lower our rates. You can't be a ding dong. But you can help make it better. You generate the leads. The realtors generate the leads. Now, I'm not going to be a doormat, Sean, but I'm going to remember that every day of my life, I am on a job interview. I'm on a job interview when I meet with a new realtor. I'm on a job interview when I meet with a client. Doesn't mean I'm a doormat. Doesn't mean I'm kissing butt artificially. It just means I'm letting them know why they should use me, and I'm keeping my promises. All right, one or two more questions. Chris Clark, I saw your hand up.
Obviously, we can make these lists of these 2,000 agents that Oleg is sending out to, or our 400 or whatever, by meeting them organically. Do we have any ways to pay for lists, or what are you suggesting? Obviously,
NMI
we
and
prefer to
MTA,
build
you
it
can
that way.
create lists based on qualifications. I think that 80% of your list should be close to you and up to 20% can be in other towns. I think that's manageable. I think if you're meeting 80% of your clients in person and 20% you gotta do video because, like, listen, Sacramento, when it goes bad, it goes bad. Twice in my career, I've gone to other towns regularly to get business to make it through the downturn. So do I believe in going to other towns? Yes. But I believe it's frosting, not cake. Cake is your town, people you can meet with, people you can get in front of. Then up to 20% can be in another market where that market, for some reason, is better suited to this economy. That's a good question. One more question. Anybody with guts? Come on, somebody. What to say, when to say it.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So
who's that?
on these lists, is
Yeah.
everybody putting them in Salesforce and then creating like a group? Or are you keeping them outside of Salesforce? Because that's where I get all like, oh my gosh, I got to put all these 400 people in there.
Well, for this list, you need to be able to email them to them. That's Salesforce. So they got to be in Salesforce. You need to be able to text to them. So that's another app out. I think actually Salesforce can text. Where's John
Yes.
King?
They
Okay.
can. I've been
So that's
using Page,
Salesforce,
but
right?
yeah.
So then you got to be able to slide dial voicemail them. That means you take that list, export it from Salesforce into a Excel spreadsheet or a text delimited, and then you upload it to Slide Dial, and then you can leave a voicemail for all of Slide Dial as well. Like Slide Dial works, texting works, group texting, unless you have the right app, can be controversial because it comes across with a message that lets them know it's a blast text. So you're gonna have to do a little research around that I cannot help you with. But I know my team knows how to do it. I don't know how to do it. All right, Austin, I'll give you a couple more minutes.
It wasn't a question, it was just something that worked for me this week, and I didn't know if it would help any other loan officers out before we ended the call.
Let's share. I like it. Share with me what you got.
So I created a Facebook post, and I put attention all real estate agents, because I have 11 clients right now that are just kind of sitting stagnant, no offers going out or anything. And I got 11 pre-approved buyers with budgets from 210,000 to 895, and I got about 25 listings put on my Facebook post, and I had Jonas do it as well, and he got 40 listings, which created 40 more phone calls for Jonas.
Nice.
But also gave me 6 appointments
Cool.
with
So I'm
those
gonna give you a
listing
homework
agents.
assignment. I'm gonna give you a homework assignment. You ready? I would do it today. I would call all of my pre-approved people and ask, when you call them, say, hey, Mary Frank, how are you?
I'm good.
You've been pre-approved for a couple weeks now. How's it going?
It's tough out there.
Have you made any offers?
No, I've driven by some houses that look good, but then I get to the neighborhood and I just don't like it.
You haven't made any offers?
No, I haven't.
Why not?
I keep waiting for the rates to go down.
Oh, so she just gave me objection I can deal with. I bought 3 houses in my life, Austin, all 3 of them at the bottom of market with higher interest rates. Within 2 years, my values went up and my rate went down by refinancing. So I'm not telling you to over push that, but I am telling you to call your pre-approved borrowers and ask them if they've made any offers. Ask them why not, and then solve the problem. So I have a chart. I may be able to share it. I'm going to try and share it. And I want you to see it, so just give me a second. Is that it? That's it. Okay. Now I'm gonna try to share it. This is very fancy for me. Everybody just hold their breath. There. How come I can't share? Oh, there it is. Is it sharing?
Yes,
It is. Do you see the graph?
yes,
Do you see the black line? The black
yes,
line is the median home values. The blue line is interest rates. So anytime you put, if you hold on to a house for 10 years, did you make money?
yes,
You did, right? So if I'm calling my pre-approved borrowers and I'm like, hey, have you made any offers? They say, oh, no, it's blah, 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 blah. I'm like, listen, I got to tell you, it depends on why you're buying, whether it makes sense to buy right now. That's called a lower the bar close. If they're buying a house right now to live in it and make money in 2 years and sell it, should they buy? Probably not, right? Is that fair or not? Are we going to see massive appreciation in the next 2 years in real estate? Does anybody think we're gonna? Chad's optimistic. I love you, Chad. Probably not, though. So, like, if you're gonna buy short term, it may not be the best time to buy. Chad could be right. It may be the best time to buy. But if you're gonna buy and hold on to it for at least 10 years, Chad, is it for sure a good time to buy? The other one's a maybe, right, Chad? But this one's a for sure, right? So if I call them and I say, hey, if you're buying for 2 years, you could be right. But if you're buying for 10 years or more, you could be wrong. Here's proof. If you look at the biggest peak and you draw a line between the biggest peak in 10 years and values went up. And that will eliminate their fear. Not to mention during that transition, rates went down. So people who bought down here refinanced up here and their rate went down. So they paid less for their home and had a lower payment. You got to be able to demonstrate to people why buy now. You got to ask them, have you made offers? And ask them why not. Did you know that if you make an offer and it gets accepted, you can back out for any reason for the first 2 weeks? Do you think they know that? They don't. Did you know that you can't possibly ever buy a house if you never make an offer? You can't. So you guys got to start realizing each step of the home loan process has its own sales objection. And have your plan ready to move them forward. You get a lead, you move them forward by getting to meet with you. You meet with them, you get them to move forward by signing an application and applying to get pre-approved. They're pre-approved, you get them to move forward by being willing to make an offer. They get into contract, you get them to move forward by getting the inspections and making a sound decision. Once they clear to close, you give them to move forward by a pre-closing call, go over the payments and cash to close and make sure there's no surprises. Right now, people are volatile. I just talked to a loan officer of mine and then I got to wrap up. I'm 10 minutes over. And he's got this person who threatened to back out because we asked him for too much documentation. And I said to the loan officer, you know, he could just be looking for an excuse to back out. So we solved the problem. We did a pricing exception to eliminate mortgage insurance and lower his payment. Did he buy the house or back out? He backed out. Why did he back out? Because he was going to back out. So there's nothing I can teach you that makes every lead meet with you, that makes every lead make an offer, that makes every offer close. There's nothing I can teach you. The only thing I can tell you is the numbers. For every 10 leads you do right now, you're going to close 1.5 closings. For every 10 leads, you're going to get 1.5 closings. And that's only if the 10 leads are referred. None of those can be advertising leads. So if you want to close 6 loans, how many leads do you need?
60.
40. Every 10 is 1.5. 20 is 3. 40 is 6. 80 is 12. Now, some people beat it, but not by very much.
It's pretty spot on.
It used to be for every 10 deals, you would do 2.5 loans. And it will be that way again someday, but it's not that way right now for most of us. If you're beating it, bully for you. Great job. But the solution is more what, Mary?
More leads.
And more leads means you have to have more what kind of relationships?
Just more contacts, more relationships.
More realtors than you want to, more realtors than you're comfortable with, more realtors than you think you need. That solves your problems. More realtors seeing you. Use Jolt the way I taught you. Use my business plan the way I taught you. But you got to expand your realtors. You have to grow your realtor pile. You got to be in front of more of them. So I'm going to leave you with that. Have a great Friday. Bye.